In this video we're going to be looking into how we can fix the progress bar so it increases for attending, and we're also going to be looking into the capacity for this, for how many are attending and so on, right? So let's go to our code. First thing I want to add here is just after our array here, we're going to add in some sort of like maximum capacity, right, for this course. Let's call it a course capacity, there we go, I think that's right. And let's set it to 10. I know it's 5 right now, but whatever. And we're setting it to 10. And we also want it to somehow, because we want the bar to start from 0, right? So if we have a capacity of 10, we want to increase by 10% for each time. If it's 5, we want to increase by 20%. If it's 25, we want to increase it by something less, 4% or something, for each time. Cool. So how do we do this? Well, first we need to set a course. Oops, I'm gonna change this to a small c, so it's camel case course capacity, there we go, percentage. Is that correct spell? I guess, I hope. And we're gonna set this to 0. So from start of this is 0 attending. So, boom, be gone, right? Cool. Let's do this first. In our where to go, the progress bar here, as we did with the one where we used the player from the game where he get hurt, the more you have, and you have a health bar, we're doing something similar here. So we're going to bind a style to our progress bar. So for example, if the progress bar is a width of 100%, then it's blue all the way, right? So 50%, it's 50% width, right? So we're going to bind a style to the width of the progress bar and change that depending on how many people have signed up. So we're going to do this, and we do this by setting the v-bind, and then we're going to add the style, not a tile, and the style here, and we are going to use the objects here like we always do, and then we're setting the width to something here, right? So just like we did with our, oops, I forgot to do there was one here, and at the end, there we go. So the width needs to be the same, or we're checking this one here, right? We're checking if it's 0, 10, 20, 40, 50, whatever, or depending on the capacities, the maximum number. So we're setting this here and checking this, so if it's 1% up, then it's 10%, right? So this is the first part. We also need to say, well, do you want to print it out in pixel? Do you want to print it out in we view width or whatever? We want to print it out in percentage, right? So not as much fuss about that, and that's all we want to do, and then just prettifying so everything fits into this. So this is a style, binding it to the part of this, and I just forgot to have these two around so it knows what to do with this, and it doesn't fuck up everything. Alrighty, let's save this and let's go back to the app part, because we're not completely done here. We still need to have it checked to do things before we can actually make everything work. In my method here, I just want to add something to the form submitted. I just want to add something to the console log so we can check to see if everything is alright while we do it, right? So I want to check this event capacity. Let's grab that up here. And just see it increases the amount that I'm expecting, right? So let's click save. Let's quickly go do this as well. So the event capacity, let's just grab this data here. Instead of having 5, I'm just going to have it be dynamic compared to whatever I'm doing. Was it part of the... Nope, it's outside. So I just need the course capacity here. Nothing with the attendant before. So let's click refresh. Right now it says 10, so that works, but right now it's going totally not crazy. Here, let's see what I did wrong in my view. But upsy daisy, so instead of style where it says colon needs to be equal, it's going to help a lot. So let's switch this back over again, and let's try adding in Homer. See what it does. So over here I get 0, and if I add more, I still get 0, so somehow I made an error. So let's go figure out why I have an error. Alright, let's go to our code and check. So what are we doing right here? We were just kind of putting things in, but we forgot to do a kind of a crucial thing. We haven't actually calculated the percentage of this yet. So what we're going to do, just after we reset the name here, we're just gonna put in a calculation for this. So we're going to change the value. Right now it's 0 all the time. That's why it's printing out 0. We're doing nothing with it because it's a static piece of information up here. So for each time I put something in, we needed to grab the length of the amount of names we have. So if it's 2 names, we need to put in 2 names divided by the amount of capacity divided by 100%. So we get the actual number, right? So we can use this to increase it. So this is basic percentage calculation. So what we need to do first is we need to grab this one here, right? So grabbing this, because we want to change the value of this. So right now this is equal to 0. So we're going to set a new data or a new value for this, right? How we do this is we grab the, let's see this. We need the array here. This one as a starter is empty. So in this case it would be 0. And we also want it to be converted to a number so we can actually use this number to divide things. And then we want to divide this to actually get the percentage or the number for this one. So how do we do this? Well, we use parentheses. Well, we can add this together later on. But we want to grab the capacity. So if it's 10, then we put this in. So it has this specific number to divide by. So if it's 24, the increase shouldn't be 10%, right? It should be whatever the capacity is, and then it's going to figure out if it's increase the width by 4%, 10%, 20%, 50% if it's only 2, right? So here we put that in, and then we're dividing this by 100. So we are getting a good number for this. So let's just do parentheses around the 2 last ones because we want that to be calculated first before we divide it by the number of the letters, right? So cool. So for example here, say if we have, what is this? This is 10 divided by 10, that's a number. Right, let's just open a calculator so we can actually see how this works. So this is my calculator, so if you're confused by this, it's cool. So let's start with this one over here, cost capacity. Right now this is 10, right? So we take 10 and we divide this by 100. That should get 0. Whoops, and that's 1 too many, whatever. 10 divided by 100 should get 0.1. God, Lord, I'm horrible at this. 10 divided by 100, like so. There we go, 0.1. Awesome. So we know this is 0.1 when the capacity is 10. Now if I have 2 names put in, because that's what is calculating here, I put in Homer and Deadpool. That's 2 in length, right? Then I divide this by 0.1. That gives me 20. So imagine if I didn't have the divided by 100, then it would be 2 divided by 10. And that would be the width of our actual increase in the progress bar. That doesn't work. And then we have to punch in many, many more. And again, if you have the change of percentage up here, if it's 25 divided by 100, guess what? It's 2.25. And if we have 2 names and we divide that by 0.25, then it's 8, right? It increases it by 8% instead. So this is just the math that's used to calculate the exact width we need to increase so it fits together. When you get 10, it's 100%. If you have 5, then it goes through 20% for each time and so on, right? Awesome. So let's try and save this and see how this works in our browser. Refresh, and let's punch something in, and now it says 10 and more people and Q and B, and you can see it increases down here for each time. So let's go all the way to 10 and 100 and add more. Oh man, I can add 11. So that's something we also need to fix. So if we get to the point where, well, we don't really want to be 11 out of 10. We don't want to increase them, and the police and fire people are going to come and shut us down and everything. So we can do this in our if statement as well. We can check if it's something is below 0, like we did with the name, don't put it in, but if we're above a specific point, you're also not allowed to do this if statement. So up here, after our 0, we can use the and sign. So if this is true, and this part is true, if we use the or sign, that's like the pipes, if I can remember to do those. Not like that. That was a really, there we go, pipe. So this is just means either one of them should be true, but now we're stating both of them should be true. and we're checking that if this what do you call this course capacity is smaller than 100, so 100%, then you're allowed to punch in information. So let's try this real quick. So 1, 2, maybe I shouldn't have gone with 10, but it doesn't matter. It's the same person as well. So hopefully soon this one won't be able to, see, I can punch this in. So now we're blocking the statement to be, this if statement here to be not true, because this is, oh sorry, this is no longer true. It's no longer below 100, so we can't do it anymore. So now we blocked it, and that's kind of how we can use this if statement. Awesome, see you in the next video.